So, students, before we take up our next topic, that is environmental conservation, our social responsibility, we need to talk or discuss on another important source of pollution, that is pollution caused by radiations or radioactive pollutants. In fact, these are one of the most dangerous forms of pollution in modern times. Now, radiation pollution or radioactive pollution can again be divided into two types. You have radioactive pollution from natural sources and radioactive pollution from artificial sources. The natural sources of radioactive pollution or radiation are the UV or ultraviolet rays from the sun. Of course, most of these rays are absorbed by the topmost layer of the Earth's atmosphere, that is the ozone layer. But nowadays also in certain places, due to excess emission of chlorofluorocarbons, that is CFC, which I discussed in the earlier lecture, the ozone layer, there is a hole being created in the ozone layer which is causing the ultraviolet rays of the sun to hit the earth at some places on the earth. So it is hitting the surface of the earth in some places because of depletion or a hole in the ozone layer. So ultraviolet rays of the sun is a natural source of radiation pollution or radioactive pollution. They have many harmful effects on the human body, especially on the skin, causing cancerous effects. Then you also have infrared pollution, which is another source of natural radiation pollution. Infrared normally are emitted from objects that are hot or give out a lot of heat. So you have, although they are not too dangerous, but long-term exposure to infrared radiation from natural sources can have some harmful effects on the body. So the two natural sources of radioactive pollution are ultraviolet or UV radiation and IR, that is infrared radiation. Then you have artificial sources of radiation or radioactive pollution. In modern times, there is a lot of use of radioactive elements for the purpose, constructive purpose, also for defense purposes, which are largely destructive in nature. So the artificial sources of radioactive pollution would be testing of nuclear weapons. All of you have seen the movie Pokhran, where there is an underground nuclear testing going on. Nuclear testing of weapons also goes down under the ocean, thereby under the sea. So they carry out a lot of nuclear tests under the sea, which emits a lot of highly radioactive substances, which emit radiations which are dangerous to aquatic life. These radiations are absorbed by the aquatic plants and animals, and they ultimately enter the food chain, right? Then you have radiation from atomic power plants. Atomic and nuclear power plants, they use their raw material as radioactive substances to generate electric energy through the process of nuclear fission. So during the process of nuclear fission, you have a lot of heat energy being liberated, which is used to evaporate water, produce steam, and then generate electricity. So as a byproduct of these activities, a lot of radioactive substances are liberated at times. Sometimes they generate radioactive waste, which are let out into the atmosphere, thereby endangering life. As I mentioned, nuclear tests, nuclear weapons are also sources. Then nowadays, to treat certain forms of diseases, you also have the use of radioactive isotopes in medicine. You have learnt in the previous classes the use of radioactive isotopes. If you remember, you know that radioactive isotopes like iodine is used to treat goiter, which is a defect or deficiency of the thyroid gland. There's a deficiency of thyroxine being produced by the thyroid gland. So they use iodine 131 or something to treat this goiter. Then they also use cobalt to treat certain types of cancer. So in short, nuclear medicine nowadays also contributes or poses a danger to radioactive pollution. Discussing radioactive pollution, as I told you, you have the natural sources, which include the UV rays coming from the sun. Then you have the IR rays coming from hot objects, which sometimes cause harmful effects on human health. So the natural sources of radioactive pollution is the ultraviolet rays from the sun and infrared rays coming from objects that emit heat energy. Then you have the artificial sources of radioactive pollution, namely X-rays. All of us at some point of the time or the other have gone to take out X-rays to diagnose certain types of illness. So these X-rays, exposure to long time of X-rays also have harmful effects. Then we discussed about the atomic power plants and nuclear power plants that use radioactive substances as raw materials to produce electric energy. So they are also a source of radioactive pollution. Then in modern times, use of nuclear weapons, testing of nuclear weapons also poses a great threat to environment, contributing to radioactive pollution, can affect the soil, can affect the ocean when tests are carried out, nuclear tests are carried out under the ocean. Radioactive isotopes are used in medicine to treat various disorders like goiter, various types of cancer. They generate a lot of radioactive waste, which again poses a threat to environment in the way of radioactive pollution. So the major source of radioactive pollution are these radioactive substances which are used in X-rays, atomic power plants, nuclear testing in medicine. You have learnt of some of the radioactive substances. You have heard about uranium and thorium. These are radioactive substances which are used as raw material in power plants. You have heard about the radioactive isotope iodine and cobalt being used in medicine. These radioactive substances are basically elements which have a high atomic number. That means the number of protons and neutrons in their nucleus is high. So the nucleus is unstable, giving rise to highly penetrating radiations which cause ionization of mediums. So highly penetrating radiations like alpha radiations, beta radiations and gamma radiations are emitted by such radioactive elements, and they are quite harmful to the environment, especially on the health of living organisms including human beings. You have heard about the disaster, maybe you have heard about the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. There were nuclear disasters or accidents like the Chernobyl disaster way back in the year 1986 or so. Then the most recent one was an accident in a nuclear reactor in Japan, located somewhere near Fukushima Island. So Fukushima was the place where the nuclear reactor blast due to the tsunami that took place in the year 2011 or 2013, that we have to confirm. But the fact is that when this nuclear reactor accidents took place either at Chernobyl or even in Japan, there were some other islands also where these accidents took place. These accidents, they released a lot of radioactive substances into the atmosphere, and when these radioactive substances get released into the atmosphere, a big problem in handling it is that it takes a very long time, maybe hundreds of years, for these radioactive substances to disappear from the atmosphere. There is what we call in science as there is a very slow decay of radioactive elements. They persist in the atmosphere for many years. When they persist in the atmosphere, they come down on water bodies and they come down on plants. Thereby they enter the food chain, that is, they get consumed by human beings and animals. And on consuming of radioactive pollutants, that is, when these radioactive substances through the food chain enter the bodies of humans or animals, they cause damage to the chromosomes. And chromosome basically is the genetic material. So they cause chromosomal damages, and a lot of genetic changes take place in the generations that are born in future. Many places near Chernobyl was in Ukraine, somewhere near Russia, and Fukushima is in Japan. So these are the places which are going to face the long-term effects of radioactive pollution, because it persists for many years and its effects can carry on for hundreds of years, affecting future generations. Now, students, some of the effects, harmful effects of radioactive pollution, you can be asked these questions in the board exams. So let us discuss some of the harmful effects of radioactive pollution. One of the common harmful effects of radiation or radioactive pollution: excess of exposure to any type of radiation or exposure to radioactive pollution can lead to cancerous ulcers, especially when people are exposed for a long time to X-rays. Long-term exposure to X-rays, like people working in the hospital or X-ray technicians, normally they pose, it's an occupational hazard for them. They are exposed to the risk of cancer or ulcers being produced, cancerous ulcers being produced. Then long-term exposure to X-ray radiation. Sometimes, when people have certain disorders or they are exposed to X-rays frequently during diagnosis, in some healthy tissues also get damaged. So X-rays, prolonged exposure to X-rays can lead to damage not only to the harmful tissues that are in the body, but the healthy tissues also get damaged. Then, as I told you, that radioactive pollution or radiation can cause chromosomal disorders, thereby leading to genetic changes in future generations. Then exposure to radiation or radioactive pollution also has a lot of harmful effect on the eyesight or the vision. These are examples of radioactive pollution taking place due to nuclear tests, nuclear power plants, nuclear reactors. These are the main sources of radioactive pollution causing large-scale damage to the environment. Students, before we go on to conservation or the need of conservation as being our social responsibility, let us look at the big story of a small man, which is there in your textbook. So this big story of a small person is that of Jadav Molai, who was born in a small district called Jorat of Assam. How this single person could make such a huge contribution is what you will learn about. So the moral of this is a single person, if determined, can bring about a huge difference. Now this story is about Jadav Molai. He, at the age of 16, was employed as a forest worker in some place in Assam. So, Assam is very prone to floods from the river Brahmaputra. Almost every alternate year or so, there is flooding causing large scale damage in terms of erosion of soil, damage to the nearby environment and ecosystem. So this was witnessed by Jadhav Molai. So during one of the floods in Assam from the river Brahmaputra, a large number of snakes died in those floods. Now all of you have studied how snakes also are very important part of certain ecosystems where they help in controlling the population of certain species that could damage crops. So a large number of these snakes had died. So as a preventive measure, Jadhav Molai, he planted some 20 bamboo plantlets in order to avoid the flood water causing damage to the environment. You know, when the trees, large number of trees are planted, or you know, the role of forest and trees in preventing soil erosion and damage to the environment, they prevent the high velocity of water eroding the soil. So what he did was, he planted a lot of trees somewhere along the banks of the Brahmaputra, which was a barren area, a complete dry area. He planted around 20 plantlets to prevent it, and these 20 plantlets eventually grew into a small bamboo forest, thereby preventing damage from the floods that were caused later. So in 1979, the Social Forestry Department in Assam started a social afforestation program. Afforestation is exactly the opposite of deforestation. They started a social afforestation program to revive or to create forest in order to prevent the harmful effects of the regular floods from the Brahmaputra. So Molai, as a forest worker, was working on this social forestry project. He was a part of that social forestry project. So as an effort, they were given around 200 acres of land for this social afforestation program. Molai was a part of that thing, the social forestation program. So as a part of the efforts, and especially Jadhav Molai's efforts, this 200 acres of barren land got converted into a lovely forest with a lot of bamboo trees and other trees. So the entire dry land and barren land got converted into a beautiful good forest. It was later named as Molai Forest in his name, respecting his efforts for creating that forest. So almost from 200 acres, the forest spread to around 1,360 acres of jungle were created solely due to the efforts of Jadhav Molai planting the trees. He didn't only limit himself to planting on those 200 acres, he kept on planting in order to spread the forest. So ultimately around 1,360 acres of barren land got converted into a lush green bamboo forest with a lot of biodiversity now within it. So recognizing Jadhav Molai's efforts, the government awarded him a Padma Shri award for his efforts in contributing to environment. So from this, students, we can learn how a small person can create a huge difference if you are determined to bring about a change. So taking an example from this, we will talk about our social responsibility in the need for environmental conservation. See, there is, for a long time, students, there is a very close connection or interrelationship between man and environment. After man put his foot on this earth, he used the natural resources available here to fulfill his needs. We learnt in the last lecture, after his needs were fulfilled, greed took over. He started exploiting the environment to make his life more comfortable, and in the process started damaging the environment, which you are seeing today. Damage to the environment, causing loss, diminishing of natural resources, causing large scale pollution. All this human activity cause degradation of the environment. So it is we humans only who have caused damage to the environment, and it is we alone, using our intelligence, the same intelligence which we use to draw raw materials from nature or environment to make our life comfortable. We can use the same intelligence in a constructive manner to conserve the environment by using the natural resources more judiciously, more carefully. There should be a lot of awareness, because normally degradation or damage to environment is done because of lack of awareness. So if we collectively get together, you saw just one person making a big difference to bringing about a change in the environment. So if we as individuals step in and contribute in our very own small way to conserving the environment, ultimately there will be a big change brought about, which will ensure that our future generations live comfortably. So we can contribute in terms of maybe participating in plantation programs, in afforestation programs, by planting trees in our surroundings to make the atmosphere much more healthier and cleaner. We can participate in programs to generate awareness among people in our society who are not aware of the impact that they are creating on environment because of their activities. So awareness, education, active participation, sensitivity towards your environment, reducing waste, all these activities are our social responsibility, and man can definitely bring about a change if determination is there within. So students, you will be able to learn more about this. You will see ultimately how the world became aware for the need for environmental conservation, with so much of destruction and damage being caused to human life now. It is recognized globally now that environment conservation is the need of the hour. Even the United Nations have designed a program called United Nations Environmental Program. Many countries have participated. In fact, many countries have set up environmental departments and ministries in their own countries in order to keep a check on damage done to the environment. Various laws are now being implemented to prevent damage being done to the environment. Polluting factories, polluting industries are being taken to task by law. There are legislations in case or laws being made to penalize or punish people who contribute to environmental pollution. You can read on, you will get a lot of information on various acts that are implemented in various countries. Even in India, you have a lot of acts, the Wildlife Act, the Environmental Conservation Act, Biodiversity. There are many acts that are there which go a long way in contributing to the preservation of environment. So students, this is all for today. Take care and thank you.